If you have never used Google Classroom before, remember, go to Clever and log in, and then access Google Classroom through the Clever single sign-on. Once you click on Google Classroom, it will prompt you for your username and password. It's the same as your email. Also remember, if you have a pop-up appear in the upper right corner asking you if you want Google to remember your password, click on Never. Clever will remember your password. You don't want Google to remember it, or it will try to make that your password for everything you log into in Clever. So inside of Clever, tell Google not to remember your passwords. So for you Google Classroom newbies, once you click on Google Classroom and log in with your school email account, you should have a page that looks like this, totally blank, if you've never used Google Classroom before. Now, and let me back up just a second. Before you get to this screen, if it's the first time you've ever logged into Google Classroom, it'll ask you whether you're a student or a teacher, and obviously you're going to put teacher. Okay, so this is the first thing you see once you're in Google Classroom. Okay, you're going to want to go ahead and create your classes. So if you click on the plus sign in the upper right, it'll ask you to either join or create. You want to create. And just let me put on first period math. Okay. And section, subject, and room number are optional. You don't have to put that. The only thing you have to put is the name of your class. And create. Now, if it's the first time you've gone in, it'll give you these little pop-ups that give you a little information about what step is next. I'm going to cancel out of that just because I'm going to walk you through some things. So congratulations, you just created your first class. And because I named it math, it automatically added the mathematics graphics. You can upload your own picture for the background. You can select a different theme. You know, you can make this your own. If you plan on using Google Meet, which is similar to Zoom, you will have on this is called the stream page, is the first page. You'll see this that says Generate Meet Link. Click on that, and then click on Generate Meet Link again. Make sure this is checked so that it's visible to your students, and click Save. So this is now the Google Meet for this class until as long as this class is active. So that's pretty convenient. Used to, with Google Meet and with Zoom, you'd have to send your students an invitation to a meeting, to a virtual meeting, every time you wanted to meet with them. Now, you just tell them what time, and this is the same link they'll use every single time. Okay, before I go into any other steps, adding content or adding students or anything like that, let's go to the settings. It's also in the upper right. Real quick, let me tell you some things about Google. Everything with Google and Google Apps follows a pattern. These three horizontal lines over by the name of the class, that's a menu. So you click on that and it'll show you all of the classes you've created. This is a menu for Google Classroom. Okay, the settings button over here by your initial is the settings button for this class. Now that stream page I was on can become unnecessarily confusing for teachers and students. So I suggest, you don't have to do this, but I suggest going to the settings, scroll down to where it says stream, and by default it has it so students can post and comment, but I would change that to only teacher can post or comment. And then where it says classwork on the stream, I would hide notifications. That just is going to keep it simple. Okay, if you keep going down, you can actually set up your gradebook. And I would set this up just like you do in Focus. And where it says overall grade calculation, I would not put an overall grade. I put no overall grade, because if we sync the gradebook with Focus, the student's grade in Google Classroom is not likely to match the grade in Focus. You may have grades in Focus that weren't listed as assignments in Google Classroom, which is fine. But having two different grades there is just a source of confusion for students and parents. And I personally feel like we just put no overall grade, and you can avoid that source of confusion. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to the top and save. Okay. Now I'm going to go over here to the settings for Google Classroom. Now here you can turn off email notifications so that you don't get email notifications and neither do students, or you can pick and choose what you want notifications for. Just be aware that if you're posting lots of things at once, it's going to bombard your students with emails. So but these settings are all of you. I typically turn email notifications off for my purposes, but you don't have to do that. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my class. Okay, so that's lesson 1 in creating your class. In my next video, we're going to talk about adding students.